Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, first of all, hi, so glad you found this channel, and please go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because the story I am about to tell you is one of those moments where K-pop and the rest of the world collide in a way that leaves everyone, including people who have never once listened to a BTS song in their life, completely stunned. And today's story involves BTS, a football club with over a century of history, a jersey that had never been worn publicly before, and a concert stage in Madrid that became the backdrop for what is being called one of the most unexpected and brilliant marketing moments in the history of professional sports. So if you are ready, let us get into it. Let's go back to the night of Saturday, June 27, 2026. Day 2 of BTS's Ararang World Tour concerts at the Riyadh Air Metropolitano Stadium in Madrid, Spain. This is the home ground of Atlético de Madrid, one of the most storied and passionate football clubs in all of Europe. A club that has won La Liga titles, that has reached UEFA Champions League finals, that has a fan base that bleeds red and white and considers their stadium a sacred place. And on this particular Saturday night, that stadium was not filled with football supporters in traditional matchday fashion. It was filled with 66,000 ARMY, BTS fans from across Spain, across Europe, from all over the world, wearing purple, holding their ARMY bombs lightsticks, and singing in Korean, in English, in Spanish, louder than any crowd that stadium had heard in recent memory. BTS had already delivered a stunning Day 1 on June 26. Their first ever concerts in Spain were already going down in history before Day 2 even began. Day 1 had been everything: 23 songs, surprise tracks, Airplane PT2 and interlude, Wings, J-Hope opening the night with a perfectly delivered Vamos a Volvernos Locos, in Spanish, and Jimin making the entire stadium cry with his promise that BTS would return to Madrid on future tours. Day 1 had been everything ARMY in Spain had dreamed of for years. But Day 2 had something nobody saw coming. Not ARMY. Not the football world. Not the sports media. Not even, and this is the part that truly blew people's minds, Atlético de Madrid's own players. Because when Suga stepped into the spotlight on the Ararang stage on the night of June 27, he was wearing something that had never been seen in public before. Not in a stadium. Not on a training pitch. Not in a press conference. Not even in a marketing campaign. He was wearing the new Atlético de Madrid home kit for the 2026-27 season, a jersey that, at that moment, had not yet been officially released to the public, and on the back of that jersey, printed in the classic lettering that Atlético used for their players' names, was the word Suga. And below it, the number 7. Let me say that again so it lands properly. Suga Min Yoongi of BTS wore an unreleased Atlético Madrid jersey with his own name and his own number printed on it, on stage in front of 66,000 people, inside Atlético Madrid's own stadium, before a single one of the club's actual first-team players had ever put it on. Before the official launch campaign. Before the Nike announcement. Before the photos on the website. Before the club itself had made any public move to unveil the kit to their supporters. The world-exclusive debut of Atlético de Madrid's new jersey happened not at a press conference, not at a preseason training session, not through a slick advertising campaign, it happened on a concert stage, during a BTS performance, worn by a K-pop idol from Daegu, South Korea. And the reaction was immediate, enormous, and completely unprecedented. Inside the stadium, the crowd went into absolute chaos the moment fans realized what they were looking at. ARMY who were there to see BTS suddenly found themselves watching a football kit reveal. Atlético supporters in the audience, and there were plenty of them, given that this is literally their home ground, reacted with a mixture of shock and pure delight. The moment Suga walked out in those red and white stripes with Suga 7 on his back, the cameras went up instantly. Videos were being recorded from every angle in the stadium. The clips started hitting social media within seconds of the moment happening. Suga sent the stadium into a frenzy when he appeared on stage wearing the classic red and white shirt. This unexpected debut left both music fans and Atlético supporters stunned. Images of the kit quickly went viral on social media. That is not an exaggeration. The images and videos went viral not just within ARMY spaces, they spread into football media, sports news, fashion outlets, marketing publications, and general entertainment news simultaneously. Because this was not just a fun moment at a concert. This was a genuine news event. A football club with the size and history of Atletico de Madrid had never unveiled a new kit this way before. Nobody had unveiled a kit this way before. It is the first time a club has used a major music show to unveil its official kit. That is a historical statement in the world of sports marketing, and it happened because of BTS, and specifically because of Suga, on that stage in Madrid. Now, let's talk about the jersey itself for a moment, because for football fans who are watching this and want to know what exactly Suga was revealing, here's what we know about the Atletico Madrid 2026-27 home kit. The kit features a combination of white, university red, and a darker blue, specifically a deep royal blue, which is the same dark blue used for the club's 22-23 away shirt and also appearing on the shorts. A standout tonal trident pattern is embedded within the red stripes, symbolizing strength and victory and referencing the Fountain of Neptune, a site historically used for the club's title celebrations in Madrid. It is a classic Atletico look, the iconic red and white vertical stripes that the club is globally recognized for, but with these new design details that make the 2026-27 version distinct and special. And the trident motif is a beautiful touch, because the Fountain of Neptune in Madrid is where Atletico fans have gathered to celebrate every major trophy the club has won. It is woven into the identity of this club, and now it is woven literally into the fabric of the jersey. And Suga wore it first. Think about what that means from a purely cultural standpoint for a moment. Atletico Madrid have some of the most passionate and identity-driven supporters in world football. The club's jersey is not just a piece of sportswear, it is a symbol. It carries the weight of decades of history, of fights and triumphs and heartbreaks, of a fan base that defines itself in part through its fierce loyalty to the red and white. The moment a new Atletico jersey is revealed is always a significant moment for the club's community. And that moment, for the 2026-27 season, happened on a BTS stage, witnessed first by ARMY, delivered to the world by Suga. Atletico Madrid's official social media accounts quickly acknowledged the gesture, sharing a video of the performance and praising his outfit choice. And that response from the club tells you everything you need to know about whether this was a spontaneous surprise or a carefully planned collaboration. Atletico Madrid does not casually share videos praising outfit choices at concerts. This was coordinated. This was deliberate. This was a strategic decision made by Atletico de Madrid and BTS, or more specifically, by their respective teams, to use the second night of BTS's Madrid concerts as the global launchpad for the new kit reveal. And it was, by any measure, a stroke of genius. Let us think about the numbers for a second. When a football club traditionally reveals a new jersey, the audience for that reveal is primarily their own supporters, football media, and the general sports news audience in their home country and across global football communities. It is a significant moment for the club, but it exists within a relatively defined bubble of interest. Now think about what happens when you attach that reveal to a BTS concert. You are not just reaching football fans. You are reaching 66,000 people inside that stadium alone, the vast majority of whom are ARMY, people who are already primed to record, share, and amplify every single moment of the show to their networks and fan communities worldwide. The social media reach of BTS and ARMY is something that exists on a completely different scale from what a standard sports kit reveal can access. This brilliant strategy blends Korean pop culture with the passion of elite football. And that description, while accurate, honestly undersells just how significant this crossover moment is. Because what Atletico de Madrid and BTS did together on June 27 was not just a creative marketing idea, it was a demonstration of how the lines between different entertainment and cultural industries are dissolving in real time. A football club in Spain and a K-pop group from South Korea found a way to create a single moment that simultaneously captured the attention of two enormous, passionate, global audiences who do not typically overlap very much. And in doing so, they created something that neither could have created alone. The football world's reaction was immediate and enthusiastic. Sports media outlets picked up the story within hours. Football kit news sites, which have their own dedicated readership of millions of supporters who track jersey releases with the same intensity that sneakerheads track shoe drops, were all over it. The story appeared in football publications across Spain, across Europe, and internationally. Atletico Madrid trending alongside BTS on social media in the hours following the concert was something that no one had predicted, but that, in retrospect, felt almost inevitable once you understand how these two fan bases operate. Both Army and Atletico supporters are communities defined by intense passion and loyalty. When something gives them a reason to engage with each other's world, both sides show up fully. And let's be honest, the Suga element of this makes it even more perfect than if it had been any other member of BTS, as much as I love all 7 of them. Because Suga has a specific personality and energy that makes the football kit moment hit differently. He is famously understated in the best possible way. He is not the member who typically goes for the big theatrical gesture on stage, he is the one who makes everything feel cool and effortless and deliberate. When Suga does something, it feels considered. It feels intentional. And so when he walks out on stage wearing an Atletico Madrid jersey with his name and number on the back, it lands with a particular kind of weight. This was not an accident. This was not a spontaneous wardrobe choice. Suga knew exactly what he was doing, and he delivered the moment with exactly the kind of quiet confidence that makes him one of the most compelling performers in BTS. The Suga 7 on the back of that jersey is also worth a moment of attention. The number 7 is, of course, significant in multiple contexts. In football, it is one of the most iconic shirt numbers in the game, associated with some of the greatest attacking players in history, with flair and creativity and the ability to change a match on their own. In BTS, 7 is the number that defines everything, 7 members, the group's symbolic number, the thread that connects all of them to each other and to ARMY. Seeing Suga 7 on the back of an Atletico Madrid jersey felt like 2 worlds speaking the same language at the same time, even if that was not the explicit intention behind the choice. It resonated across both communities simultaneously, and that kind of dual resonance is extraordinarily rare. Now let's talk about what this moment means for the bigger picture of how K-pop and global football are beginning to intersect in genuinely new and significant ways. The BTS Arirang World Tour is being staged in 34 cities across 23 countries. Many of those cities, London, Paris, Brussels, Munich, cities on the upcoming South American leg, are football cities in a deep and cultural sense. These are places where football is not just a sport but a way of life, where clubs have fan bases that span generations and cut across every demographic of society. And BTS is performing in the stadiums that those football clubs call home. The Riyadh Air Metropolitano is not just a concert venue, it is a cathedral of football in the Spanish capital. And the fact that BTS sold out 2 nights there, drawing 66,000 people each night, tells you something very significant about the scale of their cultural presence. Not even the first-team players had worn the new design before the Asian superstars. It is the first time a club has used a major music show to unveil its official kit. With this milestone, Atletico de Madrid and BTS are setting a revolutionary trend in sports marketing. That phrase, revolutionary trend in sports marketing, is not hyperbole coming from sports journalists who cover this space professionally. Kit reveals are a major commercial event for football clubs. They drive merchandise sales, generate media coverage, and energize the fanbase heading into a new season. The traditional approach, unveiled via social media posts, club website, maybe a player photo shoot, generates a reliable but predictable response. What Atletico did with BTS generates a response that is exponentially larger, more global, and more emotionally resonant. Because it happens inside an experience that 66,000 people are already fully immersed in. The reveal is not a piece of branded content that people scroll past, it is a live event moment that people are already emotionally activated and present for. And then there is the viral amplification that ARMY provides essentially automatically. Every ARMY who was at that concert and recorded the Suga moment shared it. Every ARMY who saw those clips on social media reshared them. Fan accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers amplified the story within minutes of it happening. The football community then picked it up and amplified it through their own networks. And suddenly you had a kit reveal that had been seen by an audience far larger than any traditional football marketing campaign could realistically reach in such a short time frame. For Atletico Madrid, this was an extraordinarily smart move. The club has been consistently innovative in how it approaches its global brand, but this move puts them in a genuinely unprecedented position in the history of football marketing. They are the first club to use a major music concert as the primary vehicle for a kit reveal. That is a distinction that will be talked about in sports marketing circles for years. And the fact that they did it in partnership with BTS, the biggest musical act in the world right now by many metrics, gives the moment a kind of cultural cachet that money alone cannot buy. For BTS and for Suga specifically, the moment adds another layer to their already remarkable cultural footprint. BTS have consistently demonstrated an ability to move through different cultural spaces, music, fashion, art, social causes, politics, philanthropy, with a fluency and authenticity that very few artists at their level manage to maintain. They are not a brand that simply licenses its name for endorsements. When BTS engages with another world, whether that is high fashion, or football, or classical music, or global social movements, they do it in a way that feels genuine, and that adds something to the conversation rather than just extracting commercial value from it. The Atletico Madrid kit moment felt like Suga and BTS genuinely engaging with the football world on its own terms, inside its own house, with respect for what that world means to the people who love it. And ARMY's reaction to the moment was, as always, multidimensional. On one level, there was pure joy and excitement at seeing Suga do something so unexpected and so cool on stage. On another level, there was immense pride in watching BTS demonstrate once again that they exist at the intersection of music and every other dimension of global culture. And on yet another level, and this is the level that I find most interesting, there were ARMY who had never particularly followed football suddenly finding themselves curious about Atletico Madrid. Who are they? What is their history? Why is the Fountain of Neptune significant? What is the Trident pattern all about? The Suga moment created a gateway for ARMY into Atletico's world, just as it created a gateway for Atletico supporters into BTS's world. Both communities came away from the night knowing something new about a culture that was not previously on their radar. That kind of cross-cultural bridge building is something BTS does almost instinctively, and it is one of the reasons why their impact extends so far beyond the typical reach of a music group. They create moments of connection between worlds that would not otherwise have a reason to connect, and those moments leave a lasting impression on everyone involved. Let's also talk for a moment about where this sits within the broader context of the Arirang World Tour and what it has meant for the European leg specifically. Madrid was the opening city for Europe, and these 2 nights at the Metropolitano set a tone for everything that follows. Brussels, London, Munich, and Paris are all still ahead. In each of those cities, BTS will be performing in venues with their own storied histories, their own cultural identities, their own relationship between sport and music and community. And now, coming off the Madrid moment with Atletico, there is a very real question in the sports marketing world about whether similar collaborations might follow at other stops. The precedent has been set. Atletico Madrid and BTS prove that it works. That the audience is there. That the cultural energy is transferable. That a football club and a K-pop group can create something together that neither could create alone, and that the result is something the entire world pays attention to. Other clubs will have seen what happened in Madrid on June 27th and will be having internal conversations right now about what their version of that moment could look like. And that is genuinely exciting, because it suggests that the Madrid moment was not a one-off novelty, it was the opening of a door that is not going to close again. For ARMY attending the remaining European dates of the Arirang World Tour, the excitement level is already sky-high after everything that happened in Madrid, both nights, for very different reasons. Day 1 was about BTS finally coming to Spain, about the emotional weight of that long-awaited first concert, about Jimin's promise to come back. Day 2 was about Suga turning a stadium into the stage for a football kit reveal that made global headlines. 2 nights in the same city, and each one is already a landmark moment in its own right. This is what the Arirang era is. This is what it feels like when BTS is operating at the peak of their powers, with all 7 members back together, with a world tour that is breaking records and generating cultural moments at every single stop. Every city they visit becomes a little different from the world that existed before they arrived. Madrid will never think about the intersection of K-pop and football in the same way again. And that is an extraordinary thing for a 2-night concert run to accomplish. Suga walked out onto that stage on June 27th wearing a jersey that the world had never seen before and made it look effortless. He did what he always does, he showed up with complete cool and complete commitment, delivered his moment with precision, and let the impact speak for itself. And the impact was, by every measure, enormous. There will be Atletico Madrid supporters who buy that 2026-27 home kit this summer with a completely different feeling about it than they would have had if it had been revealed through a standard marketing campaign. Because they will know that Suga wore it first. That the first time that jersey existed in public, it was on a BTS stage in front of 66,000 people, and the name on the back was not any of Atletico's players, it was Suga, number 7, standing in the spotlight and making history in a way that nobody saw coming. And that is a story that ARMY will tell forever. It is a story the football world will reference for years when people talk about innovative kit reveals. It is a story about what happens when two completely different worlds find a genuinely creative and authentic way to meet each other. And it happened in Madrid. In Atletico's own house. On a night that was supposed to be purely about music. The beautiful thing about BTS is that even when you think you know what to expect, they find a way to surprise you. And the Suga jersey moment is one for the record books, not just in K-pop history, but in sports marketing history, in cultural crossover history, in the ongoing story of what BTS has meant to the world every time they take a stage. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I cover BTS content constantly and there is so much more coming as the Ararang World Tour continues through Europe and beyond. Drop a comment below and tell me, did this moment blow your mind the way it blew mine? Are you an Atletico fan who is now an ARMY, or an ARMY who is now looking up Atletico Madrid? I genuinely want to know. And I will see you in the next one.